actions, and not being intimidated by any of that. And I think I owe that to being an athlete, because the common denominator in being an athlete is that it doesn't matter what part of town you're from or how much money you have in your pocket, all bets are off when you're on the court or on the field. And so the competitiveness that you develop and a lot of things you learn about life happen in that environment, but then you can take that to the next step and apply that to your personal life, your business life, and the book, therefore, kind of brings all of that together.
The book is excellent. If you are a student of business or you're wanting to learn about success, that is a phenomenal book. Yes, it's written through the game and the lens of sports, but the other lessons in here are invaluable. You mentioned priorities, and you mentioned those in a particular sequence. Would you kind of remind us what that was and why you prioritized them that way?
Well, I once saw an article in the paper written by Billy Graham, the great Christian evangelist, who I had the distinct pleasure of meeting not too many years ago. I know one of his sons, Franklin. I know his daughter, Ann, very well. But his column that particular day was on priorities in life, and it really made a real impression on me. I thought I had basically followed what I read, but from that day forward, it was foremost in my thinking about how to balance life. Sometimes we get caught up in putting our business or our personal pleasures first, and we forget about the things that we really should put in proper order. And it starts with having a faith in God. And when you feel you can handle life yourself, I promise you there'll come a time when you run up against a wall, and you'll determine when you're down on your knees that you need help, you need guidance, and it's always been there, but you never wanted to look up. You looked everywhere else, but not up. And so it starts with faith, a faith in your Lord, Jesus Christ in my case, and then number two, family. I just believe in family. I grew up in that kind of an Italian neighborhood where family was so important. And it wasn't just within that household, it was the whole neighborhood. Everyone's, we had extended family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, but the neighbors would keep you in line too. If you got out of line, back in those days, they'd give you a whack and, you'd learn something from it. And so family has been very important to me always. And I've been married to the same woman for 53 years. And we have a large family, 4 children, 13 grandchildren. And, that's what I keep going for. It's about my family now. Business is doing what you enjoy doing and earning a living. I feel for people. I watched it as a young guy in my neighborhood. It was a lunch bucket community. People basically worked at Inland Steel, which was just a block away. Worked in the textile factories, carried a lunch bucket, and it was that daily routine. But those people lived that kind of life so that their kids, the next generation, could go on to school. I was the first one to go to school. How did I get there? In my case, it was through sports, because I was being recruited heavily as an athlete in a couple of sports, basketball and baseball. So I got an education. But I learned there about what family was all about. And so, the family comes second. Your business, whatever you do to earn a living to support your family, and have a passion about what you do. It doesn't really matter what you do. Some of my closest friends from that old neighborhood never made a lot of money in life, got their kids through school, lived in the same home for 30 or 40 years, and we're happy. It has nothing to do with you know, the amount of income you have or prestige you may have. You know, my attitude is God has a plan for each and every one of you. He had a plan for me. I never understood why all these things happened to me. Why me? It's not because I was any better than anyone else. It's that He had a plan. He wanted to give me a platform. And this other part of this priority thing is giving back. In my case, I recognized immediately that with that platform, all of the resources that I had were His, not mine. And I was really just using those resources, and on Judgment Day, I'll be held responsible for what I did or didn't do.
Jerry, just for a second, you were a Hall of Famer at Illinois in basketball. And when you graduated college, did you plan to go to basketball?